Are you feeling overwhelmed today by the challenges of maybe parenting or leadership? Well, if so, I got a text with some hope for you today. Welcome to the Daily Devo. I am Vince Miller. We're in a brand new series on the book of Samuel. We're currently in chapter 1. We are looking at the theme of the 6 people who influenced Samuel's early life so far. We have identified Elkanah, Peninnah, Hannah, Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas, and then finally today, Samuel. So today we're going to be at the end of chapter 1 in verses 23 through 28. Here's the text. Elkanah, her husband, said to her, "Do what seems best to you. Wait until you have weaned him." We're talking of Samuel. "Only may the Lord establish his word." So the woman, that's Hannah, remained and nursed her son until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, along with a 3-year-old bull, an ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and she brought him to the house of the Lord at Shiloh, and the child was young. Then they slaughtered the bull that they brought with the child to Eli, and Hannah said, "Oh, my Lord, as you live, my Lord, I am the woman who was standing here in your presence and prayed to the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord granted me my petition that I made to him. Therefore I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he is lent to the Lord." Man, this is actually a pretty awesome moment if you can understand some of the context of the situation. So today I'm going to make several observations, 3 in all, from this text. First, you're going to see here that Elkanah is presented as a very diligent and devout man of God. He diligently makes his annual trips up to the tabernacle. In addition, he also affirmed his wife's right to make spiritual commitments to God as well. And he wants to support her in fulfilling those vows, even though those vows are going to cost him a firstborn son from the wife that he has loved from long ago. In addition, the sacrifice that Elkanah brings to the tabernacle is sizable. It is generous. It's even incredibly lavish. So a little side note here for our husbands in the audience today. I want to encourage you, do what Elkanah does here. Look for ways to support your wife's spiritual calling and her development, especially when it honors the Lord. Second, Hannah is only given a few short years with her only biological son. From the day Samuel was conceived, Hannah knew that her time with the one God Lent, that is the name Samuel, the one God Lent, was going to be very short. Therefore, these years were really preparation years for Samuel until he was lent back to God. So another little side note here. All believing parents would be blessed to think about their children in the same way, as one's being lent and prepared for an interdependent relationship in service to the Lord. Just think about how your perspective would change as a parent, as a father, as a leader, as a mother, as a wife, if you just embraced that perspective. Third, and one of the most intriguing aspects of this entire passage, is the wordplay in Hannah's statement to Eli the priest. The phrase is, "Granted me my petition, I made, I have lent him, and he is lent." All stem from the same Hebrew word, to ask, which directly relates to the meaning of Samuel's name. He was lent to the Lord. This connection underscores the divine providence in Samuel's birth and Hannah's act of dedicating him to the Lord. Now, I want you to know, Samuel's early years are marked by this unique perspective. He was one lent to them who would be lent back to God for a lifelong Nazirite vow. So for a moment, think about how a perspective like this would change how you think about everything. Consider how it might affect how you parent, prepare, live, and give. How you might parent, prepare, and live and give. Without a doubt, this child changed Elkanah and Hannah forever because this child forced them to change their perspective about everything. I have 3 grown children now and 1 newly born grandson as well. Each has required a different type of leadership, direction, encouragement, and challenge. Thinking about how to lead them through their challenges has challenged me as a father, as a husband, as a man, and as a leader. Sometimes it has been frustrating, but God has used each one of my children to shape and form my perspective as a father, husband, man, and leader. In some ways, God has used them to influence me, just like God used Samuel to influence his parents. But this only happened when I was willing to pay attention to the divine father parenting me as I was parenting them. Think about that just for a second. The dynamics of the spiritual and supernatural relationship that we have with our Father is incredible, and it should influence how we parent our own children. So if you feel a little frustrated today as a parent or as a leader, try paying a little bit more attention to God's divine providence and plan. Worry less about what you want and pay attention to what God wants. When we align our plan with God's divine plan, like Elkanah and Hannah did, the decisions along the way are a lot easier because, well, most of them are already made for us. I love you guys. I so pray this has blessed you. If it has, share it with someone else, and I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.